Good morning. Welcome to week 8 in Enterprise Architecture, ICT 4010. Week 8, just a couple weeks to go. We're going to um, continue to look more deeply into reference architectures and look at how organizations, really technology capabilities or activities can reflect to what is a best in class in particular verticals, industry verticals. And so we'll look at some ways in which what is called a reference architecture can be developed and sustained. A bit of a break after going um, going crazy with Archie Mate and Archie Source and all that good stuff. Good work. Bit of a break this week, and then we head into the sprint to the finish. This week is pretty basic. Some reading, some assignments, looking at the value and the role of reference architectures. Um, Given the fact that standards tend to be a lagging, not a leading indicator, sometimes by the time something is a reference architecture, the technology world has moved on to a newer and hopefully better. Newer is not always better. Um, uh, Technology. And so um, you're never wrong with picking a reference architecture, but sometimes it either takes a while for it to get settled, or you may take a performance hit over something that's newer and faster. All right. So industries and their professional associations have developed and they have supported various reference architectures. Their patterns, they're best in class, they're prescribed ways that participants in the industry, in that particular industry, have found success. So we're talking about standards again, common language, common models, and hopefully some of the reinventing the wheel or boiling the ocean, whatever metaphor of slowness you want to use there, can be avoided by the collective wisdom of the group. So what we're going to be doing is looking at some of these reference architectures. Hopefully you'll kind of lean toward, okay, what organization, what type of industry am I in, and then how a reference architecture might particularly lean or have features in that set. So do the readings, look at the lecture materials, read. There's not a lot of core reading, so do the optional ones that lean toward your particular industry vertical. Contribute to the 2 discussions. Make sure that you have at least 2 interactions with each of those 2 discussions. I've realized as the term goes on, we seem to have less time, and so on Sunday night, it's kind of hard to scare up somebody willing to do a response. So make sure that you take care of them early. One should be done by Wednesday, so do number 1 by Wednesday night, and then finish the other one up. And keep that in mind. Less deliverables this week, so hopefully you can catch a breather in that area. The 2 online discussions. Match up your industry to see if there's a defined reference architecture, and then consider the proposition. This is not it's more than a proposition. It could be a reality. Reference architectures remove creativity from the enterprise architecture companies that leverage them. In other words, you pick a particular way of doing things, then you may be less creative. On the other hand, creativity comes with it a fair amount of risk that maybe your particular solution may not be accepted. There may be some tweaks and surprises. I remember adopting a particular technology and talking to the vendor. I was the new person, so getting my hands around the technology. This was a while ago. It was a networking technology, ATM. Very good for some things and entirely over-engineered for others. I said, well, I'd like to see your reference account on this. I'd like to come up and visit. This was on the East Coast. And there was a lot of hemming and hawing, and well, and then after about 10 minutes of pushing, I realized we were the reference account. In other words, they'd never done this before. They had sold my predecessor and his organization a bunch of promises that, while technically sophisticated, required a whole lot of headcount to really manage in the way that we wanted to do it. So we ended up not paying a $250,000 invoice, telling them that we'd see them in court for selling us an unproven solution. They walked away, we walked away, and we put in just regular Ethernet, and life went on. So reference architectures just, it doesn't mean it's proven unless you can find some accounts where they're actually working that. And if the vendor is reluctant to share those things, then you are the reference. You just haven't gotten the t-shirt yet. So keep those things in mind. Okay, have a great week. Bye-bye, everybody.